heights of a name that's true. We've been living in a funeral pie that we built ourselves just to set it on fire. On fire, set it on fire, set it on fire. I ain't had nothing but anger and shame. It's building up now like a runaway train. Said my mind wants to try to get free and left me hanging from a tupelo tree. Cut a man down in cages hard, and all you've done is just set him on fire. Fire, set him on fire, set him on fire. Ooh. 10,000 days on the end of this chain and getting nowhere but closer to the grave. I'm living all of my life like a man on the road, hiding in a hole till kingdom chain and getting nowhere but closer to the grave.
Basically 250 years ago, my fifth great grandfather, his name was Colonel Joseph Williams, settled right here in 1765. He was a colonel in the Revolutionary War and fought under George Washington. 1768, built his first still on the farm, and word spread of the quality of the product, and distillery was up and running. Generation to generation, the distillery was passed father to son, until my great-grandfather inherited it at the age of 19 years old. He was the one that actually took the business up to its stature it was before pre-Prohibition. We were one of the largest distilleries in the United States, the largest in the Southeast before federal Prohibition. A lot of people don't realize that North Carolina Prohibition was actually enacted 10 years before the federal Prohibition. So we were forced in 1909 to stop producing our product here on the farm and selling only across state lines as well as internationally. In 1903, North Carolina started putting some squeeze on the distilleries here in the state and forced them to close down or either be operated in an incorporated town. So my great-grandfather incorporated the town of Williams, North Carolina, where we sit today, to keep the distillery alive. As those rules and regulations spread and the number of people were added into those towns, he grew the town of Williams to accommodate for the laws. 1909 came, we had to stop production. My great-grandfather died in 1913, and basically the distillery stopped at that time. We did a little bit of shipping across state lines, a little bit of shipping federally, but in 1920 the revenuers came in and disposed of the 28,000 gallons of liquor that we had left on the farm at that time, and the business died at the wayside. Well, you know, growing up, my cousin and I, just like every male Williams, dreamed of reestablishing the family distillery. We dug in the glass piles in the woods where the revenuers broke the bottles and tore up the barrels, looking for the elusive bottle, hoping that one day you would find that one that made it through Prohibition. And it was something I just dreamed over the last 30 or 40 years to do. I didn't know when, but it was a matter of time. About 4 or 5 years ago, my cousin and I really started kicking around the ideas with putting the distillery back together, and got our dads on board and started making our first product in 2015 at another distillery here in North Carolina. We secured our permits in 2017, and we were off to the races. Currently in about 85 to 90% of the North Carolina ABC stores. We're really starting to push our mixed beverage across the state. We have a really good coverage in Wilmington, North Carolina, a really good coverage here, obviously in the Triad, and we're working on Charlotte as one of our major metros now. So we're really starting to pick up momentum and gain some traction across the state, and as that happens, restaurants and bars will be much easier to get on board. The great part about this is, first off, this passion is because it's my blood. I mean, this is 7 and 8 generations of distillers, which is crazy if you think about it. The good part hasn't even come yet. I mean, we're still dealing with naming fights. We're still adding on to the distillery. We're still buying equipment that we need. And that's the great part. We're already enjoying what's going on. And the best part's yet to come. So I've always been one to chase my dreams. why not? You know, I'm not going to sit back when I'm 60 and say, man, I should have done this. No way. No way. You know, we each have kind of fallen into our own roles pretty well. Matt has a full-time job as a paramedic for Baptist Hospital. He flies as a medic on the helicopter. My dad's a retired school teacher, taught for 30 years. My uncle's retired, and I've got my advertising business, and I juggle between the two. I take the end of the business. I handle all the paperwork, handle all the bookkeeping, treasury end of the business, pretty much all the marketing, advertising. Try to have my hands in as much of the distilling as possible. If it comes to building, that's my dad's end of the spectrum. He likes to take control of that. And Matt, he is the research and Mr. Clean. Coming from the medical background, Matt likes his things spotless. So we've all found our place and get the job done. The crazy part is every day we think we've got adjusted to what needs to be done. Of course, with a growing business, 10 more things add on. So. You know, we're constantly trying to delegate who does this, who does this, who does this. And now we're really getting into doing a lot of events across the state. So we're trying to divide our time here at the distillery, as well as being able to get involved with some of these events. So we try to spread that across for each of us. Number one, so you don't get weighted down with a burden of just doing the same thing and the repetitious over and over and over, but you get a taste of every bit of the people that we're getting to meet in this business, which is probably the coolest thing. You know, I love my Carolina Panthers, and I've gotten to serve them liquor at several events, play golf with them now twice. I've got to serve liquor to Richard Petty for his 80th birthday. You know, it's been just really neat who you bump into, who comes to the distillery. So having that and having the interaction with the customers and the potential customers, all of us enjoy that part. So we try to divide that equally as much as possible. We use all non-GMO corn, which is really tough to get out and find. So here on the farm, my goal is to actually start growing that non-GMO corn and our wheat again back here on the farm. Of course, I'd like to get our grain bins up and running again and get to the point where we're actually providing quite a bit of grains to the North Carolina distilleries across the state. So I'd like to get that going again, the grain in. We would like to plan out the whole front end here of the building into a cornfield. That way in the fall we can do a pumpkin patch and a corn maze. And then at some point, I'd like to turn this into a bed and breakfast. You know, I've got big plans with the property. I'm not trying to push family out before they're due, but the opportunity here to give customers a really neat place to get away from that typical hustle and bustle, and to be able to sit back and relax and enjoy sounds of nature, the hawks buzzing overhead, the deer that run right out here of the field. Be able to share that with our customers. I want to see us successful. I want to build the brand back to wherever it takes us. I don't want to set those goals. I don't want to set those unrealistic goals to say, oh, I want to be Jack Daniels in 10 years. I mean, that's going to take an act of Congress and a lot of laws to change. I want to be successful. I want my dad to see us successful. I want my kids to see it successful. And I want them to be able to take it over one day and be 8th generation. That's my goal.
I can see the valley, I can see the road we used to climb, I can see the mountains leering on the other side, and on and on and on and on it goes. I can hear the echo, I can hear the song we used to sing, I can feel the distance living in the